Hi everyone, Sandra Duran Wilson here, and welcome to Mixed Media Soul Sparks. Every episode I try and inspire you with some new ideas of how to take your mixed media work to a different level. Could be little tips and tricks, could be a whole direction that might send you down another path. In a previous episode, I talked about acrylic paints and how to different ways, different viscosities, and even in my travel episode, I talked about using gouache, which is like a watercolor, but to get it to look more like acrylic. In this episode, I want to share with you how to get acrylic to look more like watercolor. And that's what's called go with the flow. And a couple of ideas are just really very fluid, loose paint. This is all on paper. And here is another one of working more with viscosities. So going from the very fluid to adding opacity back in. So you get this push-pull going on. And I'll show you a little bit of both of those. So I'm going to start with, this is a very lightweight, I think it's 92-pound mixed media paper. I also have a heavier paper that I can use. What I want to do is just get started here, and I'm going to put paint on and then take the two pieces and pull them apart. So it's kind of like take yourself back to grade school. And I'm just adding some water to the surface first. And a little bit of, this is high flow, quinacridone gold. And this is one of those, very similar to high flow. It is a airbrush paint, a blue-green. And some white ink. And one more color. Let's put a little Payne's gray in here. Then I'm going to spray some more water on both pieces and make a little sandwich. Put them together and kind of pick them up and twist them. And you see the effects you can get of just letting it do its kind of flow thing. I like that gold over there, and I want some, so I'm going to pick this up and put it over to there. Now you can't plan any of this stuff. This is just how it's going to move with the water and the paper. The only thing you can plan are your colors. Pick some colors that you know mix well together, like the blues, the yellows will make the greens, the white gives it some lightness. And then you just set them aside and let them dry. And then when they're dry, then you can come back in with some more opacity if that's what you choose. Now another way I like to start is with just adding some papers on here. I used a glue stick to glue this one on and did the same there. But then I peel the paper off, so this is just more of an impression. I can then, well, let me just show you how I did that. So actually, I think I used this fluid matte medium in order to do that. It's like it's almost like a matte gel now. Put it on here. Press it down. I'm going to give it a minute, and then I'm going to peel it off. If I peel it off right away, most of it will come off. So while I'm waiting for that, I'll actually glue a piece here. And I'll put this over the top. And I like doing this because you get more of just an impression rather than trying to read the words. Then I can come back in with my fluid paints. One of my favorite colors is the quinacridone gold. And let's bring in a little bit of this naphtha red light. It's going to be a real orange and red piece. It's a little thicker. Now I'm just using the brush rather than bringing the other paper in. More water. You can tilt it, you can let it flow, run off. And if you've got your paints getting a little too dry and you still want it to flow, take some alcohol and that will really get the acrylic moving. So unlike watercolor, when this dries, I can go back in and I can build some more transparent layers onto this. But let's say you want the same kind of effect, but you don't want to work on paper because then you're going to either have to mount this under glass or you're going to have to seal it on a canvas or a board. So what if you had a surface that you could just paint on? And that's what this is aquabord. It's developed by Ampersand to be like watercolor. See how I have so many of these because they're just so much fun to play with. I want to just show you one other thing here. Now when you work on this Ampersand, you're going to want to spray water on it first because it's got like a paper pulp in it. The surface is made to be like paper. And if you took and put your paint on without doing this, it would just suck right into that surface and not flow. And we're all about the flow today. So by brushing it, you're releasing some of the air bubbles that are trapped in there. But sometimes it's kind of nice to have the air bubbles. But I'll let some of them release. This is one other paint that is very interesting to mix in on this surface. It's called micaceous iron oxide by Golden. And it's actually got these metal particles in it. I don't know if you can see these bubbles that are starting to pop up on this surface of the water. Very hard to see, but maybe when I put some paint on there. So I'm going to take, see how it just flows out, just moves. I love working on this surface. Just remember, when this dries, it's going to be much paler than what it is because the water is amplifying the color. Now I'm going to come in here with more of this quinacridone. And I'm going to mix some of this micaceous iron oxide in. Now I've got too much on there, so what I'm going to do is blot some off. Because this is just plastic, I'm going to start to pick it up and move it around, creating patterns. So then maybe it's not too much. Maybe I just needed some different shapes. But if it is too much, then I can come back in and blot. Add some water. This is the wrapping from the package of the panel. So rather than throwing it out, I'm just going to take that paint and that pattern. You know me, I never like to throw anything away. That micaceous iron oxide is very interesting. So when this dries, I'll finish this piece and show it to you in the final part of the video. I'll probably add some nice bright orange or something in here to warm it up. And once this dries again, I can layer this. But the first part is to really go with the flow. Let it just move. I could still come in with the alcohol and get this effect. So that's it for Go With The Flow. I'll finish some of these and post them so you can have a look at all the different ways you can finish these. Thanks for joining me. Take a look at the website for any updates on books, workshops, and I'll see you next time. Join the Creative Awakening community on Facebook, where you'll be able to post your art, connect with other creatives around the world, and ask questions. Use the hashtag #MixedMediaSoulSparks when posting your work on social media. Thanks for joining me.